you know, I started understanding that my place was slowly but surely getting through. Now, I was open for 5 or 6 years before I started some kind of growth, before I saw some kind of growth, because everybody would come to Little Italy with blinders on and go directly into one of the restaurants that was there for a long time. And, you know, you just had to keep on pounding that pavement until people understood that you were doing something different, and they understood what you were doing. And I didn't just play Italian music. I play music from all over the world. I love Spanish salsa. I love Latin jazz, so I play a lot of that. And I spent a lot of time in Turkey, so I'm into like Turkish pop music, which is a whole different sound, a whole different beat. And I started incorporating all those different cultures into my restaurant in Little Italy, and I started seeing results. I started seeing people were noticing and people were thinking it was unique. And, you know, everyone that's been from Cleveland for a long time knows that Little Italy had a reputation of not dealing with people of color. And, you know, that's true to a certain extent. When you really know what was going on over there and you really understand the people over there, that's not true. When you understand that there's some people that don't tolerate that on both sides of the fence, then you understand that can be true. But the people in Little Italy are basically pretty fair people. And as I started getting people of color, and I don't mean just black, I mean Indian, Asian, Spanish, Arabic. I started getting so many different cultures into my restaurant. People started understanding that, you know what, everybody eats and everybody has to eat, and everybody knows how to act when they go out and eat. And people started accepting that in Little Italy, and I started getting a positive reputation from not just the neighborhood, but outside the neighborhood. And it became known as a place where all people were accepted. So that was a little bit of a breakthrough, and because, you know, there's ideas from all over the place on that situation. But the other thing that I did is, instead of just having Italian food, I spent 2 or 3 weeks a year in Jamaica for about 10 years. A friend of mine owns a resort in Jamaica. So I started learning Jamaican cuisine, and I started like playing around with Jamaican cuisine with my food. And I love Jamaica, and I love Jamaican cuisine. So, you know, when the weather gets hot in Cleveland, we like to play some reggae too. And I like to serve Rasta pasta. So we started doing that and playing around with that. And then I decided, after about 20 years in Little Italy, that I had an opportunity on East 4th Street, and that's when I opened La Strada. La Strada is also another famous Fellini movie. Anthony Quinn is a star of that movie. It was made in 1956, and that means the street, by the way, and the road, the street, and it's a very unique film. If you get a chance to look at either one of the films, they're both great films. And the La Strada concept, because I opened 2 restaurants in Istanbul, Turkey, for a good friend of mine who's an international basketball agent. I learned a lot about Turkish cuisine and Turkish culture. I have a couple Moroccans working for me that are managers in both my restaurants. I brought in a little bit of Moroccan culture at La Strada, and I brought a little bit of that at La Dolce Vita. But I then decided to make La Strada a different restaurant than La Dolce Vita, not so Italian, more Mediterranean. So I put Greek, Italian, Spanish, Moroccan, and Turkish cuisine inside La Strada. And so we have shish kebabs and pasta, we'll call it like that. But, and then the music I play kind of is indicative of the cuisine. We have a lot of Spanish parties there. This weekend we just had a Puerto Rican, believe it or not, a Russian Puerto Rican party on Saturday night.
It was nice there.
I'm sorry?
It was nice.
You were there?
It was a nice mix. I walked past.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Friday we had a Peruvian party. So we have the food, the music, and a little bit of the drinks. We get some Peruvian, we make some Peruvian callejos, like mojitos, you know, with the Peruvian rum. And And the week before, we had an African party. We've been throwing African parties. Israel is a DJ in town, and we throw African parties about once a month. So I don't know if you all ever got into African groove music, but it is one of the finest musics there is. And some of it is a little bit like reggae. You know, it's got kind of that really sweet beat to it, and that's going really well. And we like doing like kind of an international thing over there on East 4th Street. It works really well. We got the space is really great. It looks really cool. I built the place to look like a street in Italy, in Morocco, in Turkey, and that's kind of what the concept was. And it's working out pretty good. This economy has been really tough. I have to tell y'all, I've had like a really, really difficult 2 years. My first year over there was really good, but this economy for the restaurant business has been really, really tough. And the reason why it's a little easier in Little Italy is because I've been there for 23 years. And I've had a clientele and I have a reputation that's kind of helped me hang on. But on East 4th Street, I don't know what's going on downtown. It was a combination of the Cavs this year, the strike, the basketball, the NBA strike, and then LeBron left the year before. So it's been very difficult on a lot of merchants downtown. And I just believe that if everybody holds tight and keeps on working hard, that we're all going to work through this. But it's really tough economy out there right now.